No. What's up, GameLeapers? It is the Jizz back again, and boy, am I excited for this video because we are going to be watching footage of a random master player in Korea stomp Faker to the point where the 3-time world champion runs it down mid. I'm not trolling, by the way, Faker legit runs it down, so if this dude can do this to Faker, and we're about to find out how, is there any reason why you guys can't do the same in your games? So in this video, guys, the Jizz is going to be breaking down everything and giving you the essential tools you need to win mid lane, and any lane in general, so hard that your opponent ends up intentionally feeding. Now, before we get into it, a quick friendly reminder to check out the GameLeap website for exclusive access to content that will blow your TSM socks off. In-depth champion courses, guides, and videos made by the best to help you be the best, so get signed up. Links as always in the description and comment section. Right, let's get into it. I am officially pumped, so let me give you guys a bit of context about this game. This Talon player we're watching is a one-trick Grandmaster, and he's up against Faker on Zoe, of course. So the early game is naturally tough for Talon, being a melee champion into a ranged champion, so he cops a bit of harass for CS, and this is the first point I want to make. Most players against Faker here on a melee champion, it might be Zed, ahri, Yasuo, Katarina, will take way too much free damage. And what I mean is that you're taking damage for nothing. You know, there's no trade taking place. So in the early game, guys, respect that at level 1, you only want to be contesting the wave when you can last hit a minion, just like Talon does here. But here's the thing. In every other elo but challenger, a Zoe is not going to play like this. She will let you farm for free, and you can even use your abilities to damage her, not just to last hit the minions. So yeah, keep in mind we're watching peak performance league here, but once you start playing against better players, you never ever want to be taking damage for free. Now this next tip I'm going to give you, most of you are probably thinking, wow, jungle diff, who would have guessed, but Talon does something here to set up this gank, and it's a subtle but very powerful technique, if you will. Can you guys see it? So it has to do with Talon's positioning. Now let me draw a line through the middle of this lane. You see, your positioning, guys, in any lane depends on your opponent. So the standard layout is both of you stand along this line, and that's it. It's a neutral position. But here's the thing, if you move south, your opponent should move north. If you move north, they should move south. And that's exactly what Ming Zhao does here. That's the Talon's in-game name, by the way, before you think the Jizz is going crazy. So yeah, it looks as if Nidley comes in and does all the work, but this play is set up by Talon moving north in the lane and pushing Faker towards Nidley. Otherwise, Faker can just run towards the topside river or even back to his tower if he was standing in a more neutral position. So when you are getting a gank, guys, push that enemy champion into your jungler. If you don't, then you're going to miss out on a ton of kills, and on snowbally champions like Talon and other assassins, you won't carry nearly as many games. Now, another very subtle but powerful technique only the elite use that you have to start using is this one right here. If you want to roam or make a play somewhere on the map, disguising that intention is more often than not the best way of starting that movement. So what I mean here is this. When Talon shoves this wave, he wants to roam bot and dive the enemy bot lane. But if he was to run to the right here through this passageway, what do you think Faker is going to do? He's going to ping, isn't he, that Talon is roaming bot side. And in most cases, the enemy bot lane will back off, or you never know, the enemy jungler counters that play, or a teleport comes in and things go south very quickly. So this is why Ming Zhao runs back in the lane as if he wants to recall, and as soon as he knows he is out of Faker's vision, he deviates from this line and then moves bot side. So let's implement a rule. Whenever you want to roam from mid lane, look at these two fire cauldrons. Run back in a straight line towards your tower, and then once you are past these two fire cauldrons, you have my permission to then move. The fire cauldron roam, how OP is that? And Talon ends up getting a kill and an assist in the process, guys, but it's set up by that initial movement to go straight back. Now, as Talon gets an assist, guys, make sure you assist the video by smashing that like button. Right, what is happening in this mid lane when Talon returns? Aha! That's right, Faker is running it down. Now in this situation, guys, remember that second tip, pushing the enemy champion into your jungler. Well, you could very well say here that Ming Zhao should move south instead of north when Faker overcommits here, but that's the thing. When your opponent overcommits to the point where they are almost in your turret's range, it is irrelevant where you move because your jungler has easy access to that champion when they are pushed so far up in the lane. Now in terms of mechanics here, this Talon is super clean, and I cannot wait to show you one combo where he just obliterates Faker. But yeah, it's important here to dodge the Zoe bubble, and this might be a Syndra QE, or a Xerath stun, or a Seraphine E. I like to call these the make or break abilities in a lane, because without them, these champions are extremely vulnerable, and when you're playing assassins in particular, when these are on cooldown, it is your time to strike. So be aware of them, just like Talon is here, and he eased back into Faker over this wall, and this combo is very clean, so if you're a beginner Talon or thinking about playing him, watch this. Ming Zhao Qs to gap close and auto attack straight away. This is the most important part of this combo, the auto attack, and it sounds stupid, right? Like, how can an auto attack be so worth? Well, it's simple. Deep DPS. And on Talon, guys, your basic attacks trigger your passive, and your Q also resets your auto attack timer, so you can auto Q auto in the space of half a second, which is great in the early lane. But yeah, let's continue. So Q and auto attack into an ignite, then a W. And Nidalee lands her spear to kill FAKER, but what if she didn't? Well, Ming Zhao can just E along this wall and finish off FAKER himself when his Q is back up, or he can just return mid, shove the wave, and get a nice experience advantage, which is what he ends up doing when the spear lands. So pay close attention to those make or break abilities in your lanes, guys, and pounce on the opportunity when the enemy uses them. Now, this next tip is a bit more Talon centric, but still, the reason why this kill is on the table is because Talon actually looks at his map and moves accordingly. In fact, that's actually what helped him pull off that level 3 roam bot lane we looked at. So on these mid lane assassins, guys, your mobility is your biggest strength, and for the enemy Kindred, it's extremely risky invading when a Talon is on the map because of his roaming potential. And yeah, the Kindred being level 4 here helps too. Level 6 you might have an argument. And the initial combo here is exactly the same as the one we just looked at. Ming Zhao engages with his Q, then auto attacks and Ws, and then R's and auto attacks. Now, the reason he auto attacks after ulting, can you see this red triangle underneath Kindred? This is Talon's passive fully stacked. So your next auto attack on that target is going to make them bleed. And it's one of the reasons Talon is so deadly in the early game. And there's obviously no chance of Kindred surviving. So reacting to the map, guys, and then being clean with your combos and activating your passive. Important stuff. If you don't do both of these things, then yeah, you're not going to get as many kills. Now here it is, guys, the solo kill on FAKER. Ming Zhao, what was that? So if you want to know how to one-shot someone just like our friend Ming, guys, get ready. And I don't care if you have no interest on Talon either, by the way, just watching this and learning how on earth Ming pulls this off is hella worth. So on Talon, guys, you can W flash, and this is the start of the combo. Now, why would you do this instead of flash W? Well, it's a lot quicker and harder to react to. So W flash to start, then Q and R, and then auto attack. Now, why do we auto attack after ulting and not before it? Good, because the R applies all 3 passive stacks and our auto attack detonates these stacks. And if you're unsure as to whether that will kill the enemy champion, you can always fade away ignite. Now, this will undoubtedly take time to master, so get in a practice tool and perfect this combo. You might only use this once a game, but that's why it matters. That one combo extends your lead to the point where you're so far ahead, just like Ming, that there is no coming back for FAKER. Speaking of no coming back, FAKER seals his own fate with this one, and yeah, his mental is for sure boom at this point, but still, Talon has to execute. So as soon as FAKER overcommits to the sleeping Gragas, which is highly questionable because yeah, it's not going to achieve anything, Ming Zhao Qs and auto attacks again, and when he Ws, why do you think he moves with FAKER here? Like, why not stand still and just auto attack? That's right, because if the second part of his rake hits FAKER, he gets 3 passive stacks, not just 2, and you can see here how it goes from 2 stacks to 3 as that hits. Then it's just about auto attacking, and the great thing about hitting the second part of your rake as well, guys, is that it slows the target. So FAKER here is way less mobile, which allows Ming to just jab him to death. So another Talon based tip for you, and let me just say, if you're thinking of maining this edgy assassin, he is by far one of the best solo carry champions on the Rift, so pick him up. And you obviously take these tips with you. Now, before we get into the last couple of tips here, guys, I cannot stress you enough the amazingness of the GameLeap website. We upload fresh content every single day for our subscribers that is made to help you maximize your potential on the Rift, so get signed up. Unlike other sites, we're not really fans of recycling our YouTube videos, so yeah, links down below. Right now, this next clip right here, the Jizz has caught FAKER in the act of feeding. And this is what happens, guys, when you just play a good game and capitalize on your opponent's mistakes. So you will notice just before Ming Zhao engages, he uses his W to harass FAKER, and you can see below FAKER there is a wound stack, which means that to apply 2 more stacks, Ming would need to Q and R and then auto attack, and this is exactly what he does. So coordinating your skills and harmonizing your combos around your blade's end is paramount on Talon, guys. It separates the best in the world like Ming here to everyone else. I think even Ming is taken aback from FAKER's mini int. Look how he just stands still, you can't believe it. Now this could be the most important tip of all, and it's a play that Ming doesn't make that's important here. So look at the top lane, it's Shen against Sion. Now to kill Sion and not to waste too much time doing it, he would have to be less than half health. Otherwise it just takes way too long to kill him, and Ming can use his cooldowns on someone more important. So this is why he hovers for a second, maybe thinking, oh, there might be a play here, Sion might go in, but then backs off and returns mid because it's not worth waiting. Now in low elo, this mistake happens all the time, and I don't care what role you play or champion. Players ganking lanes or roaming to lanes that don't matter, or overstaying hoping that something might. It's so common. So if Sion was a Riven or a Camille, you know, a champion a lot squishier than a Bramble, Vest, Barmy, Cinder, Sion, yes, looking to make a play here might be justified, but because it's a tank who means nothing in the big picture, it's way better for Ming to just leave Shen alone and impress his lead elsewhere on the map. So bot lane or in the jungle, for example. Now this combo, guys, I do want to draw your attention to, and I want you using this this when the enemy champion is in melee range or they face check you. So you're leading with your W, then R, then Q and auto attack. And when you have a lead like this, your opponent will die every single time. You can also throw your flash in with your W, which was one combo we looked at earlier. And now guys, we have the final int from Faker in this game. I don't know if this was the first game after T1 lost to Diamond Kia, but again, very questionable here, rocket belting into the Talon. But Ming reacts and kills him with a simple Q and W, R, auto attack, dead, report, permaban, GG, well played. Now Faker's team understandably FFs in about 30 seconds time guys, and this may be more Talon centric than what some of you may like, but the combos and Ming's mechanics are a big reason as to why he ends up pumping Faker, and hopefully this helped all of you mid laners out, particularly those of you who main Talon. Thanks so much for watching guys, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell. This has been Coach Ease, and until tomorrow's video, peace.